Aloha friends, welcome back. Today we are working on a triple twist lei that consists of crown flower, red roses, red spray roses, not the big ones, and hinahina, which is also known as Pele's hair or Spanish moss. It is not the true hinahina. It is the kind of air plant that you see hanging from trees or bushes. Um, I'm not quite sure why it's also called hinahina, probably because it's gray in color. There are a bunch of other names for it, but most commonly known as Pele's hair. So today I am going to show you how I prep the crown flowers. And I will already have the Pele's hair and spray roses kind of prepped and ready to go, since those are pretty straightforward when you're making when you're prepping them for the lei. But here I have already washed and dried my crown flower. I like to use all of the parts of the crown flower, and you can see here that these are on the immature side, so they're not going to be that full, kind of the crown looking part. These are more just opened, kind of bud looking ones, but I still think they look really pretty and they will still ku'i really well. So it's just a personal preference. You also want to make sure that you wash and dry all of your crown flower, since it is a member of the milkweed family, I believe. And the sap can be very irritating on skin if it's not washed, if the flower is not washed and dried properly. I have begun sewing my crown flowers here. Today I am using a long 12-inch lei needle. It's a little bit on the thicker side. You can usually find these on Amazon, craft stores. If you are in Hawaii, most Ace stores will have them. You could also use a smaller needle. You don't necessarily have to use the long lei needle. It's just for convenience, so you can stack all your flowers and push them down easily. But if all you have is a shorter needle, that'll work just fine. I am also using thin raffia. I prefer the waterfall type of raffia. You can also find this on Amazon as well as Ace. I prefer the waterfall one because it seems to hold up better than the already pre-bundled one. The pre-bundled seems to fall apart when it gets wet, and the waterfall one really holds up well when it's wet. So we have our lei needle, we have our raffia that's on the thinner side. If you have really long, big pieces of raffia and they're really thick, simply use scissors or your nail and split it down the middle until you get the thickness or the skinniness that you desire. For these smaller, more delicate flowers, you want a super thin piece of raffia. Other bigger flowers or greenery can handle the thicker one, but thin, similar to string, is better. And like I've mentioned in a lot of my other videos, I prefer to use raffia because it is biodegradable. You can put the lei in your compost or hang on a tree when you're POW. You also never want to put, just for future reference, even though raffia is biodegradable, you generally don't want to throw your lei into the ocean that is closed. It can still get tangled up on sea life and be harmful. Best for putting flowers in the ocean is just to use loose flowers, because you don't want to harm any wildlife. Like if you're spreading ashes or doing a remembrance or a paddle out, it's best to just use loose flowers. we have to do we will be spreading my father's ashes down at the ocean sometime in the near future. And while I would like to make beautiful lei to send out with him, it is best not to do that and just take care of the wildlife and be mindful. So we're still working with our crown flower. We are piercing it through the hardest part in the middle and going up as far as you want. You can stack it and then just pull it down, or you can do 4 or 5 blossoms and pull those down too. But just keep working your way down, sliding it down the raffia until you reach your desired length. And always remember to leave a couple inches of room on both sides, both at the end before the knot and at the top. So when you pow with your lei, you can either tie it closed or you can tie it to other elements of your lei to make sure that it doesn't fall off. I'll now show you how to do that near the end of this video. But for right now, we're just finishing up this ku'i style of Pua Kalaunu. Now we are working on the red spray rose portion of the lei. Like I mentioned before, this is going to be a triple twist. So to prep your roses, these are spray roses, so they're a little bit smaller. You either want to snap, or using very sharp clippers or scissors, snap the head off of the stem, leaving that little bit of the green part at the bottom. I don't know the actual term, but the base of the bottom. And you're going to want to remove any tired looking petals or petals that are falling off. Just clean up your roses a little bit. If they all look great, then you don't have to do anything. But sometimes, especially roses from the grocery store, there's going to be some brown petals on the outside. There's going to be some dried out, tired petals. So you just want to remove them. You can save them and use them in a different lei. If they're really brown, if they're really tired, then you just put them in the compost. So again, we're going in with our 12-inch lei needle. You can use whatever lei needle you have on hand. You do not have to buy a special needle. This is just for convenience. It makes it easy to stack the flowers and push them down all at once. And again, I'm using the waterfall raffia, same as the Pua Kalaunu. And we're just working our way down the needle and pushing everything down the raffia. To pierce the spray rose, you want to go directly through the middle, that's why you left that little green part on, yeah? So you want to go directly through the middle and pierce it and then pull it down. Sometimes if the roses are old or dry or tired, they will break apart or crack. And you can see here I'm trimming them just to give like a fatter base so you have more room to pierce your rose. But sometimes they'll fall apart, and that's okay. And I think I'm trying to remember how many roses I use for this one. Probably around 40, maybe about 40-ish for one regular style ku'i, about 32 inches. You might want to make it a little bit longer, especially this is a twist, because the twisting will take up more room in your lei. So you might want to make this a little bit longer. But just like the Pua Kalaunu, you just work your way down until you reach your desired length. All right, now we have reached the fun part where we have 3 elements of our lei. As you can see, I've already pre-twisted the hinahina, and I don't have a clip of me doing that, but you also want to make sure that your hinahina is bug-free. Give it a wash, dip it, and let it dry. So I'm tying all 3 elements of the lei together using those long ends that I spoke about earlier. And now I'm going to lay all 3 out and start twisting. They're all roughly the same size. You can see my Pua Kalaunu one is actually going to end up a little bit shorter. That's okay. It still looks fine. So you hold one end, all the ends that you have tied together in one hand, and you slowly and gently start twisting the lei together. And I'm kind of going really gently here because the flowers are a little bit delicate. You can see some things are falling off. You can see where I kind of misjudged, and I have some elements are a little bit shorter. That's okay. The lei still turned out really nicely. So we've twisted all these guys together. And a little trick that I picked up from another lei maker is that when you're pau, you tie the corresponding ends of each lei together. So after it's twisted, you would tie the crown flower lei end with the other crown flower lei end, the spray flower lei end with the other spray flower lei end, and same for the hinahina. So that twist holds its spot. There's a lot of really good videos on Instagram and TikTok showing you exactly how to do that. And I didn't do it here, but that's the best way to prevent your lei from twisting. And right now I'm just making the little kind of fun elements that you put on at the end. I've made some red tea roses. Some people like to iron their tea for this. You don't have to. Both ways work fine in my opinion, but I made 2 little roses and I'm going to tie them on to my raffia bow, and then I will tie that bow onto the lei as its finishing touch. You could use fern, you could use leftover loke, whatever you wanted. You can make a bow out of tea leaf. There's lots of different creative ways, but it's just a really nice way to finish up your lei and give it that finished, nice, beautiful touch. So here you have it, your triple twist lei made of crown flower, red spray rose, and hinahina. I believe I got the crown flower from the grocery store. The hinahina came from my yard. I have a big patch growing on one of my hapu'u ferns. And the crown flower came from the Kohala coast. So if you enjoyed this video, please give me a follow if you want, no pressure. And if you make a lei similar to this, let me know, show me in the DMs or comments. You can find me on Instagram at leilupea. You can find me on TikTok, same at leilupea. I'm on Pinterest. And I'm just sharing my learning journey with lei, making lei. It's something that I really enjoy, and I'm learning with each lei. I'm not an expert. I'm still very much a novice. But I enjoy making lei and I enjoy showing the process. So mahalo for joining me.